Subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has spared our life till this time, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this as an act of ibadah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us and grant us al-Jannatul Firdaus. All what we have been saying for the previous weeks that we have been talking about is concerning the kind of women we need to marry, the menstrual period of women, what we, the men, need to do to our legally married and acceptable women, and what we are not supposed to do. And where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that our women, they are our farm, we can till them anyhow. We've discussed it. And last week, we spoke about the oaths, which we just concluded now. Mentioned the three the other time, and the remaining one I've just explained to us now. And every one of us should be so conscious whenever we are making an oath. May we not fall into the holes that will lead us to where we are not going to be pleased with. Now, the second part of our khutbah is going to be talking on Al-Istiqlalu. Al-Istiqlalu, independence. What do we really mean by independence? Did Islam mention anything in independence? Because this particular week, you Nigerians, you celebrated your independence. That you have been liberated from the colonial masters 63 years ago. But what has been your achievement? We the Muslims, what has been our quota that we have contributed or that we have achieved so far? Where were we yesterday? Where are we today? And where are we heading to tomorrow? The country Nigeria, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has naturally endowed us with lots of bounties. But are we grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with what He has given us? A similitude of Nigeria, Allah cited in the Holy Qur'an, Quran chapter 16, verse 112. Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Fadaraballahu masalan qaryatan kanat aminatan mutma'innatan yati rizquha ragadan min kulli makani fakafarat bi an'ami Allahi fasaqa Allahu libasal ju'i wal khawfi bima kanu yasna'un. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if I finish the interpretation of the translation of this verse, now everybody will know that Nigeria is where Allah subhanahu. This particular ayah is clearly related to Nigeria. Wadaraballahu masalan qaryatan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we are giving an example of a particular community, of a particular nation, of a particular state. Kanat aminatan mutma'innatan. We made everything for them. Their land is fertile for them. In some Arabian countries, they practice irrigation. The animals, they must practice artificial insemination. Lot of natural disasters. We are here, no volcano. We are here, no tsunami. We are here, no seismic earth movement. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Kanat aminatan mutma'innatan. We make sure we give them tranquility. We give them peace. Aminatan mutma'innatan. Yati rizquha ragadan min kulli makani. Allah said we gave them provision in abundance. Min kulli makan, from everywhere. If you plant a seed of a plant here now, in the next 1 week, it's going to germinate. There are some arable lands that doesn't require fertilizers. That as soon as you plant, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless the plant and the plant will germinate. Yati rizquha ragadan min kulli makani. From everywhere, part of the countries, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them. Fakafarat bi an'ami Allahi. But the best you can do to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to do what? To be ungrateful to Allah. Is to become ungrateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fasaqa Allahu libasal ju'i. And the best thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala too needs to do for us is what? Is to clothe us. Libasal ju'i, with the clothes of hunger. We have abundance of foods, but our food security has been threatened because we are not so much conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have your money, you take your money, thousands of naira, you take it to the market. But what you are going to use thousands of naira to buy is going to be peanuts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now plays hunger on our head. Wal khawfi, and fear. If you are staying in your room, you will be fearful. If you are staying in your place of work, you will be fearful. If you are in the masjid, you will be fearful. If you are in the mosque, if you are in the church, you will be fearful. If you are in the market, you will be fearful because you don't know where any calamity will come and befall you from. You won't have any rest of mind. You will be shivering up and down. Bima kanu yasnaun. We drill this with our hand because of our handwork. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continued to say, وَلَقَدْ جَاءَهُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْهُمْ. We sent them a messenger. A messenger was brought out from them. فَكَذَّبُوهُ. And they belied the messenger. It is the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are passing to each other now. But it was belied that no, we won't take that. It is the colonial masters' constitution that we are going to follow. The doctrine of Islam, we are not going to follow it, despite that we are not an Islamic state. But what the Quran brought is better than what the whites brought, which we can use and is going to bring peace and tranquility to our nation. Fakadabu. We said the person that is delivering the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us is just telling us things that are fallacious. We are not going to listen to him. Even if we listen to him, we are not going to heed to his call. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَأَخَذَهُمُ اللَّهُ الْعَذَابَ وَهُمْ ظَالِمُونَ. I now chastise them with severe punishment. وَهُمْ ظَالِمُونَ, because they have transgressed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Russians, some time ago they came to this country, they visited Ajaokuta steel mill. They said in the next 20 years, or in the next 2,000 years, Nigeria will be exploring what they have only in Ajaokuta. Because what we use to know a nation as a powerful nation is when you have steel, you have ore. That in the next 2,000 years, Nigeria will be giants of Africa because of what they discovered that we have the deposit of steel that is there in Ajaokuta in Kogi State. But today, Nigeria is still exporting or importing steel from another country, and we have it in here in abundance. Has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not been benevolent on us? Allah said, فَأَخَذَهُمُ اللَّهُ لِبَاسَ الْجُوعِ وَالْخَوْفِ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. Because of their unfaithfulness to me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I will make sure everything around them will be scaring them. And because they are not listening to the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm going to chastise them with severe punishment. Because punishments too are also in categories. Allah said that وَفَكُلُوا مِمَّا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ حَلَالًا. What me Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made lawful unto you, keep taking from that provision. Keep consuming those provisions. How many of us are eating halal today? You see a believer will say, when the available or when the desirable is not available, any availability now becomes what? The desirable. So, if halal is not available, haram, we substitute halal. You hardly see any believer, any Muslim that will not fall into this pit. Whoever doesn't fall into this pit, that means he has a divine protection and guidance, especially in this country. Allah said, "Fakulu mimma razaqakumullahu halalan tayyiban." The best of provision that is lawful, Allah said, eat from it or eat from them. Washkuru ni'matallahi alaykum. And you should be glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You should be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the mercy He has showered on you. In kuntum iyyahu ta'budun. If sincerely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one you are worshiping. Are we really worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I use a case study of Nigeria. Where are our leaders? Where are they? What are we celebrating? Before our independence, as we claim to have gotten 63 years ago, historically it was documented that it was one white man that said he discovered the blacks, called in 1847, called Goncalves. That he was the one that discovered we the blacks. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that created us did not discover us. I didn't know where to place us. It was Goncalves that now discovered us. He was the one now that now ran back according to the history. He now ran back to the whites. He now invited the Dutch, the Danes from Netherlands, he invited the French, he invited the Britons from Britain. They now came around. They started spying on us. That look at these black apes, as they used to call us. They call us apes, monkeys. So they now share us into continents. Fortunately in Africa, in West Africa, Nigeria, Gambia, Ghana, and Sierra Leone, we are clustered together. They now look back that who is going to, they form colonies. Who is going to lead this set of people here? They now put a condition that the person that is going to lead them must be the person that has led people before, who was a class captain or whatever. They now chose Lord Lugard. That was how Lord Lugard became our own colonial master. In 1914, the amalgamation of the Northern Protectorate was established. But there wasn't any success in the gathering. Another meeting was called for in 1916. When Lugard was supposed to talk to every one of us, talk to the Hausa, they came for the Congress, the Yoruba came for the Congress, the Igbo came for the Congress, but none of them were understanding the language of each other, including the colonial master. They dispersed. They started, lots of activities started going above us or over us. Lots of activities started going over us. This is how our independence is coming gradually. They established a constitution which has been revised till the one we are using now. I don't know how many of us know the constitution of Nigeria. You don't even know our rights. We are just being there as a citizen. Majority of us. In 1946, they constituted a constitution called Clifford Constitution. They keep on trying using the constitution on the Nigerians and all these other West African countries. In 1948, it was revised to Richardson Constitution. In 1951, it was revised to McPherson Constitution. Before 1954, it now revised to Littleton Constitution. Gradually it was coming. So our grandparents were fighting for independence before we now got the independence in 1960. This is how we started bringing out ourselves from the colonial master. But since then till date, what have you achieved? Since that 1960 till now. It was at 1960 that we got the independence. We only got the independence orally. Technically, the independence was not there because any judgment that was passed here They have to send it to WACA, West African Court of Appeal, from 1960. Our own Supreme Court here cannot do anything. The Nigerian Army was not Nigerian Army as of 1960. It used to be called Royal Army. The police was not Nigerian Police, NPF. It was still Royal Police. From West African Council, WACA, any judgment being passed from there will now be sent to England, to Privy Council. They will now pass the judgment from Privy Council and send it back to Nigeria. Before our grandparents keep on fighting before we now got the First Republic. But since then, what has been the achievement of Nigeria? All the children that were born as at that time, that the colonial master gave birth to, I'm not talking of biological children, I'm talking of the liberation we got. All the things that had been established then, where are they today? For some of us that we are just maybe 10 years old or 15 years old, some of us we met Nigeria Airways. We met Nigeria newspaper. We met Bata, where they sell good shoes. We met Leventis. We met Chalarams. Where are they today? Where is Nigeria Telecommunication, Nitel? These are all the children that the independence gave birth to. Where are they today? But everybody as of today, they are running after their own investment. What can we say is for Nigeria since then? And before somebody left office 3-4 months ago, they said they brought in Nigerian Airways that they painted. Our Nigeria Air aeroplane that they painted. After the following week, the aeroplane disappeared. With billions of dollars that was used for that investment. It is nowhere to be found. This is the kind of the situation we find ourselves. And you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Inna Allah la yudiu ajra al-muhsinin. Those that are doing good, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never forsake them. And their reward, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will surely give them. But those that are frustrating, that are humiliating, that doesn't have the mercy of people at heart, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not allow them to be happy. Let's look at the history of Nigeria as I briefly mentioned, right from the time that we got our own independence. Since then, what have you achieved? Where is our NEPA? Everybody should flash back. The people governing us today, which school did they go to? How much did they pay? How much is education today? A majority of them, the same school they went to are still existing today, but they can't send their own children to that same school. Everybody is sending their own children abroad. So, what are we celebrating? Even the people that gave us the independence, they are still crying for us because they see how our own individual citizens are packing our resources and taking it to their own foreign land. That is why you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will ensure that whoever has done bad, the investment he has done, he too will not reap from it. No matter where we find ourselves, we are here today, we don't know where we are going to be. And this is our nation. We don't have any other nation we are going to call our own. We must do good. We must do good. If we refuse to do it, nobody will come and do it except we go back to the slavery era again. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specifically told us that if you are not so conscious of me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm going to choose an unfaithful leader. Or I keep choosing for you unfaithful leaders, and which you won't have rest of mind, which you won't be happy. You will have bounties of money or countable number of nairas, but what you are going to use it to purchase will not be valuable. That is the situation we found ourselves today. And how are we going to get out of this? Is for every one of us to return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you refuse to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we continue to be clamoring every day that yesterday was better than today. And that's how we're going to continue to be saying at Tayyum al-Qiyamah. What do you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do for us in Nigeria again? We have the best of the artilleries when you are taking in terms of Nigerian army. We have the best of brains in this country. In the medical sector, in the education sector, wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us. But where are they? The people of import that are ready to do it, were they given the opportunity? No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I will never overlook whatever you are doing as wrong, but I will overlook it if you people, you return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you keep seeking for forgiveness. That is the only time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have mercy on us. So every one of us, we should think what has been our contribution to the nation. Those of you that are among us that you witnessed the era before the independence, and you are here till today, can you tell us what were the benefits you benefited then, and what is the benefit you are benefiting today? The future of Nigeria only lies in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not in the hands of anybody. Because we have betrayed ourselves. We can't betray Allah, but we have betrayed ourselves. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive every one of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless every one of us in this country. Because the land is a blessed land. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Conclusively, yawa abunda muka yi magana kai shine batun saki da za mu fara sati mai zuwa in Allah ya yarda. Amma namiji ya gaya ma matansa cewai tsakanin yanzu zuwa wata 4 ba zan kusance ki ba. Shari'a na Islam ya ce wai ba masu ayaka. Wanda ya yaka kamar yana neman fada da rai Allah ne. In kuma yayi mene kafara da zai biya? Allah ya gaya mana a cikin suratul Bakara, Qur'ani na 2, aya na 200 da 206, kuma da 200 da 227 shine karatu da muka yi yau. Allah ya gaya mana in matanka ta ishe ka, ka bude bakinka ka gaya mata. Ba wai ka aje mata a gidanka ba har wata 4 baka kusance ta ba. Kuma shari'a Islam ya gaya mana in su matayenmu in sun gama haila ɗinsu na wannan wata, kafin su fara na wata mai zuwa mu kusance su. Shari'a Islam kenan. Amma ta wanda bai nan ba, aiki ya daga ka tafi da kai, ka je wata 6, ka je shekara 5, ka je shekara 1, to ya za yi? Akwai wayansu aure sun riga sun mutu domin muke din baya gida. A cikin shari'a, majority of marriages have been crashed because of the absence of the husband from the house. A man must not abstain away from his wife for good 4 months. For good 4 months, we read it. It's not Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that said it. It is an ayah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed on him. To, muka yi magana akan namiji da gabansa bai tashi. Irin wannan bai yi magana ce ba zai kusance matansa kuma ba. Kuma bai sallame ta ba. Ya matan za ta yi? Za mu gaya mata ta ci gaba zama a gidan ne? Ta yi ta dafa masa abinci, abinda ta zo ta ci a gidan kenan? In matan, in ba za ta yi ya rike jiki ba, za ta yi ya ta je shari'a court. A ji a same masu shari'a a gure, sai a ba da fatawa, sai a ce a yi masu saki. Irin wannan ba tolak bane ake ce, ana ce wannan hulihu. Domin saki din ya zo daga gurin matan ne. Namiji ne yake yin sakin tolak, amma na matan ita hulihu ne za mu ce. Wannan kenan. Na uku, ka riga ka yi magana, ka ja ma matanka, ke Zuwaira, wallahi zuwa wata 4 yanzu ba zan kusance ki ba. To, sai Allah ya taba zuciyanka. Bayan sati 2, bayan wata 1, kafin wata na 4, sai ka ce abin da na yi dinnan fa ba kyau ba. Sai kana so ka dawo da rantsuwa da ka yi. fa in fa'u kana so ka dawo da rantsuwa da kai ko kuma gashi baka nan, ko wanda bai da lafiya maybe ya riga yi magana kafin Allah ya jarabce shi da wani ciwo kuma yana asibiti a kwance kuma yana so ya kusance matansa, domin a cikin kafara da za mu yi mu biya mu daga maganan nan da muka riga mu yi shine a je a kusance mata. Kai da ka riga ka yi magana ce in the next 4 months wata hudu zuwa yanzu ba zan kusance ki ba, amma kafin wata hudu sai ka gani ce kai ban yi daidai ba adalci a cikin maganan nan, to yanzu kana so ka kusance ta amma baka gida ko yana asibiti ko gashi dama yana neman tafiya turai ko zai tafi aiki haji, kafin wata hudu din nan baka gida amma ka riga ka yafe mata. Su malamin kwarai sun ce wai za ka yi magana, ka dauki wayanka ka ce mata to ajiye Halima, rasuwan nan da na yi fa na kwashe abuna na cinye, da ina nan ne da na kusance ki, an gama kenan kafin wata na hudu. To in kana guri da yake ba za ka iya ka yi magana ba, amma a cikin zuciyanka anniyatu qabla al-amal, a cikin zuciyanka maybe wanda yana kan ciwo ko ma ishara ma bai zai iya yi ba, zai iya fadi a cikin zuciyarsa sai to da Allah ya bani dama ne yi magana ne, ai da na giya ma Hajiya Talatu ce to na yafe ki zan kusance ki yanzu, amma gashi kuma su likitoci ko su nurse a asibiti ai ba za a yarda ka diga kusance matarka akan gadon su ba, ko ma kana da private ward ma wannan bai zai iya faru ba a asibiti. So irin wannan ai yarda ce ka yi magana da bakinka, in kuma Allah bai baka magana ba ka yi a cikin zuciyanka. To su bebe ya za su yi wannan, za mu yi magana nan, muna maganan saki sati mai zuwa in Allah ya yarda. Allah ya samu gama lafiya. Karatu da muka yi kenan sati da ya wuce ba ku samu kun zo ba domin ruwa, mu yi magana akan rantsuwa guda 3, na hudu ne muka yi yau. Na hudu nan ilahu ne ake ce, shi wannan yana tsakanin namiji da matansa kawai ne, amma guda 3 din ba wanda ba zai iya shafa ba. Na farko al-yaminu al-labuhu, rantsuwa da kai amma ba da gangan bane kai ba, ka yi fada ne, maybe kana cikin haushi, maybe yaronka ya sokane ka sai kace kai wannan yaro ko ya jarabawa ya fadi, sai kace a tun daga yau wallahi ba zan biya kudin makaranta kuma ba, amma ka ce wallahi, ka san kai rantsuwa gaskiya kenan, amma kana cikin haushi ne kai. Abinda za ka yi kafara da wannan shine ka je ka yi alheri. In ka yi alheri da kake ba za ka yi dinan ba, ka biya kafara, Allah bai zai maka azaba ba. Na biyu shine al-yaminu al-munakada, rantsuwa da kayi da gangan. Kai kun san na farko ba da gangan ba, cikin haushi ne, amma wannan ka tashi da safe sai ka kira ajiyawa da Allah ki zo nan, tun daga yau wallahi ba zan kusance ki kuma ba, kuma iyayenki tun daga nan domin kin zama mun masifa, ba na son sake ki, amma tun daga yau gashi ba wai kana cikin haushi ba, kana nan ranka komai da komai lafiya lau, kai wannan rantsuwa din nan shine ana ce al-munakada, rantsuwa da kai da gangan. Wannan mu yi karatu ce ga abin da za ka yi a kafara. Na farko za ka ciyar da mutane 10 irin abinci da ana ci a inda kuke. A gurin su Yarbawa yanzu, Yarbawa suna son shokwara da egushi, da kayan ciki, komi da komi, da alayyaho, komi da komi, irin abinci na da ruwa da ka san za ka ba namiji ya ci ya koshi, ya gya muka ci alhamdulillah na koshi, za ka ba mutane 10. Kafara na ɗaya na farko kenan. Na biyu, in baka yi wannan ba ka da karfi wannan, sai ka je ka ba su sutura mutane 10, wanda bai da kudin abinci mutane 10 ya zai samu. Yadda ake yi a gurin da ya faru, ana gurin su Yarbawa suna sa buba da wando ko su sa wani hulan Yarbawa. A can arewa a gurin mu ko za mu sa babbar riga, za mu sa hula tajiya ko me haka, za ka ba mutane 10 asalin yadda ake yin sutura gurin nan. In kuma su gurin Igbo yamurai ne, yadda su ma suna sa kayansu za a sa ma mutane 10. In ba za ka iya wannan kuma ba, sai ka je ka cire bawa, ka je ka biya ma bawa ya zama hurra. A je a cire wani bawa, I don't know how to say it. Kun fahimta ko? A je a fidda shi, shi ma ya tafi a kan shi, ka je ka biya. Amma ina ne ake wayannan kuma yanzu? So bayan wannan na uku kenan, na hudu, in ka yi nemi na farko baka yi sa'a ba, na biyu baka yi sa'a ba, na uku baka yi sa'a ba, na hudu sai ka je ka ci, sai ka yi azumi na wata 2. In ka fara yau sai ranar kwana 60 kafin ka gama. Ba wai za ka yi guda 3 yau ba, ka ce kai na gaji. In ka ce ka gaji za ka fara ranar da za ka fara daga na farko. Ko ba ka kai 37 in ka dan huta na rana ɗaya, ranar da za ka sake ka ce ka cika ba, za ka je ka fara daga na farko ne. Ka fara da za ka yi ma wanda ya rantsuwa da ganga kenan, na biyu kenan. Na uku, shi ba ta da kafara, sai dai azaba gaba Allah ranar kiyama. Shi ne al-yaminu as-sabira, al-yaminu al-gamus, al-yaminu al-kaziba. Ita tana da sunaye guda 3 domin tana da babban azaba gaba Allah. Allah ya raba mu da shi. Ba ta da wani kafara nan. A can da za samu abin da za yi kafara da shi, da baka ma san yadda Allah zai yi da kai ba. So azaba kuma azabar lahira mai ina ne? Wuta ne. Ba wani abu, ya ce azabar lahira wuta ne, ba wani abu. Dadin duniya ina ne? Aljanna. Allah ya samu shiga aljanna. So magana da muka yi sati da wuce kenan. So wanda ya rage shine na tsakanin mace ko mata da mijinta. Kuma mun riga mun gama wannan. Allah ya samu gama lafiya. Allah ya samu gama lafiya. Allah ya samu gama lafiya. For those of us that we came late, what we discussed. For those of us that were here last week, we discussed about oath. So the 4th one that I mentioned to us is the one we discussed today. That you deliberately abstain from your wife for 4 months. You made a vow that you are not going to copulate with her. There won't be any intimacy between you and her. And you kept on to your oath for 4 months. We discussed what will happen to you and how you need to expiate the vow you have made. But if you copulate with her before the 4th month, you don't have any query in sight of Allah. That one will fall under the oath of al-yaminu al-lagu, unintentional oath. But after 4 months, you have to pay an expiation, like all what we mentioned for al-yaminu al-munakada that we mentioned last week. I mentioned it twice today again. That is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, that we should be very careful in whatever will happen between we and our women. Now, what I forgot to mention that just came to me now is there are some instances or some actions that we the husband and all the husbands that is being okay or being satisfied or is fed up. Don't let me use satisfaction, right? Fed up with the wife. He now made a vow that I will not have any intimacy with you in this house again. He mentioned this house. That vow or that oath can only be sustainable in that house. If he has another house or he takes his wife to a hotel, he can have intimacy with her because he has only made sure that he said in this house. Do we really understand? Again, if he says, I'm not going to meet you in the next 4 months, he now said, Inshallah. You know, Inshallah is not confirming any certainty. It is only bi-iznillah. Hunaka farqu baina Inshallah wa bi-iznillah. If I tell you I want to come to your house now, tomorrow I want to come and take a breakfast or just come and greet you. If I say, Inshallah, will be expecting me tomorrow. If you don't see me, you don't have any right to query me. Because I've said Inshallah. Inshallah means that if Allah wishes. And I can't come. That means that Allah did not wish. So if you tell your wife that Inshallah, in the next 4 months, I won't copulate with you. And after 2-3 months you copulated with her, you have not made any vow. Because Inshallah is if Allah wants, I copulate with you. If Allah don't want, I won't copulate. So you have 1/2 probability. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. Bi-iznillah ta'ala is what authenticates what you want to do. I'm coming to your program tomorrow, bi-iznillah. You have stamped it. It's only death or sickness or an involuntary action that is beyond your capability. That is the only thing that can deny you. But willingly, you must go because you have said biiznillah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. Inna Allah ya'murukum bil adli wal ihsan wa ita'i zil qurba wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkar wal baghi ya'izukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. Inshallah, we started introduction to divorce, which I have been targeting for the past 6 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks. So next week, we are going to start kayfiyatu talaq. How do you go about divorce in Islam? Can we divorce our woman? Yes. A woman in menstruation, can we divorce her during that period? A woman in a pregnancy state, can we divorce her? Because maybe you are somebody that is always getting angry on time. If he's still in your house, in that state, can you divorce her? Because if you are seeing her, you can kill her. I just want her out of my house. What did Islam say about you? And the woman in that pregnant state. Third, the woman has finished. They say, they pet you. She has delivered now. In a post-bleeding, after the childbirth, can you divorce a woman then? These are all the things we are going to start discussing next week. And I said to us, there are some marriages that have already been divorced naturally. Those kind of marriages, can we know some of them? Everything is in Quran. It's in this Surah to Baqarah. May Allah give us better understanding and give us time and increase us in good health and iman. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Our brothers that are security personnel among us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to be protecting you. The weapons you are using, may Allah not let them use it against you. The uniform you are wearing, the day you are going to drop it, may your blood not be soaked with that uniform. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect your family wherever they are and protect our own family too. Everywhere that we are, we too we are working. We the laborers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate every one of us. And whenever we are getting our elevation, Allah let us be a good ambassador for Islam. Let us be a role model for people working with us. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Our nation Nigeria, the people that are directing us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide them for them to take the best decision that is going to favor us. Allah stabilize our economy for us and forgive us of our shortcomings. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداءك أعداء الدين وانصر عبادك الموحدين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكيها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الله.